So, warm hello, warm hello, wherever you are in the world, whether it's the sweltering Sydney, Australia, like Marie Christine, or chilly San Francisco, or even maybe colder British Columbia, Canada, which I see many of you recognize you joining. Yes. Hi. So welcome, a warm welcome. So, for today's practice, we're going to continue um, with exploring metta, loving kindness. As you know, we've been, since the beginning of the year, Diana and I have been exploring metta in different categories. And um, in these concentric circles, starting with easy being, lovable being, self, um, then neutral person, and someone we're having some kind of a challenge with. That's the category we've been around. All these categories are so rich that just spending one practice session seems insufficient. So especially this category of people we have some challenge with. And last time when we did this on Friday, some questions came up as to whether the person we're having challenge with could be someone who's dear to us. Absolutely. It can also be ourselves. So cultivating goodwill, kindness, friendliness, metta, warmth for an aspect of ourselves that's challenging because we can be our own dear person. We can be our beloved, easy person. Sometimes we love this dear being. Oh, and we can also be our challenging person, like this person who just doesn't do as I tell her, tell them, tell him. Is like, we can be our own challenging aspects. Again, not entirely, but aspects. Similarly to our dear beings, there could be some aspects that there are some challenges with. We love them, care for them, and there's just some aspects that there's some challenge, and that's okay. So that's what I wanted to invite us to explore, a more nuanced practice. Um, and we can either work with ourselves if that works for you, if that calls you. If when I said that, you're like, yep, there are aspects of this dear being that is me that are also challenging. So cultivating goodwill and kindness for those aspects, or a dear being, a benefactor in your life, or a dear friend, um, where there's some aspects of a challenge. Again, not the entire relationship, but one aspect of it. So that's the invitation for the exploration, and it's a nuance that we're going to explore. So, so with that, let's get into our meditation posture and explore and see what happens. Be scientists of our own mind. So, I'd like to invite you to move and shift. First of all, move and shift this body and land, settle in your seat. See what is needed right now. If you need to lie down, if you need to sit up more straight, whatever is needed, you know. Check in with your body. What is needed right now? And arriving, landing in the body. Settling, receiving the breath wholeheartedly, and just spending a few minutes with the breath, with the body, settling and arriving. receiving the breath in the body, and you know what to do. Or rather, what to be, how to be. Now, as we turn our hearts towards cultivating goodwill, metta, I'll give the instructions for aspects of ourselves, this being. It's a little more challenging, together with aspects that are dear. And you're welcome, if you wish, to work with someone who's dear to you other than you, if that works better for you. You're free to make it work for you. So, I'd like to invite you to consider first aspects of yourself, this being that is you, that you cherish, you hold dear. Maybe it's the values that you live by that are important to you, your North Star. Acknowledging that you've shown up here to cultivate more kindness, cultivate more love, more goodwill. And that's a beautiful aspiration that you have, this person that is you. So connecting with this goodness first, this beautiful intention for cultivating the good. And let yourself appreciate the beauty, the loveliness, the grace, the aspiration of this being that is you. And maybe there are also other values that you really recognize in yourself. Maybe it's being on time or being honest, truthful, trying not to gossip, wise speech that you uphold dear. Maybe it's non-harming to others that's dear to you. Sense of fairness, hard work, generosity, whatever the values are, let yourself recognize. First, connecting with the goodness in you. And appreciating. And if you like to experiment with holding your heart center, putting a palm, the center of your chest, really connecting with the goodness physically as a sign of really cherishing, honoring the goodness in your own heart aspirations. And wishing yourself well, first from this perspective. May I be safe. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I have ease. Keep connecting to the beauty, to the goodness within you, this being that is you. If it were someone else, you would really appreciate their goodness, not really appreciate your own goodness. May I always know my goodness, my aspirations. May I be kind to myself. May I never forget the grace, the beauty that this being has and shines within me. And now, it's okay to welcome within this perspective of goodness, maybe an aspect of yourself, this being that is you, that's a little challenging. Maybe this being that is you tries their best not to lose their temper, but sometimes they do, and they feel bad about it. Maybe this being that is you procrastinates or maybe even though there's aspiration for taking care of yourself, your health, avoiding, say, sugary cookies when you see them, it's hard to resist, and then afterwards you feel bad. Whatever it might be, just a little bit of challenge that this person, an aspect that's challenging. Not the entire being, but one aspect that's challenging. Some behavior that's challenging. Is it possible to open your heart to this being that is you who tries, has beautiful aspirations, and yet given all the causes and conditions of their life, their genetics, their background, upbringing, all of life's experiences, condition of the body, the mind, the cultural context, societal context, so many causes and conditions, so many causes and conditions that go into each moment's decision and actions, realizing this person that is you is doing their best. And by berating them, it's not going to make it any easier. By being judgmental, it doesn't make it any easier. They won't suddenly shape up if you berate them, if you berate yourself. By being kind, understanding, you're not giving yourself a free pass. Far from it. by extending your care and understanding to all parts of yourself, even the challenging parts. You invite them to come out of the shadows, to be integrated, to be met with kindness and support instead of pushed into exile of self-judgment. By accepting, understanding, caring for all parts of yourself, no part left out, including the challenging parts. You can better understand, integrate with all your aspirations, with your goodness. The challenging parts are met with kindness, metta, and are seen and held this way. Better integrated, better seen, understood. Held with kindness. There's actually more accountability. There is more accountability. So, holding all parts of yourself in kindness and goodwill. Wishing well. May I love and accept myself completely, wholly, fully. May I love and accept the perfection of the imperfection, with care, with warmth, with openness, with aspiration. In the words of Suzuki Roshi, may I know that I'm perfect just as I am, and I could use a little improvement. If you were a child, a young person who was doing their best, and somehow missed the mark. Say, had the aspiration to tidy up their space and they broke a vase. You wouldn't berate the child that is you. You would have understanding. They're doing their best. If you hit the child, there can be so much inner resentment. If you hold the child with understanding, the child that is you will aspire to do better next time. So holding yourself with care, with metta. May I be well. May I feel safe. May I feel safe from inner harm and outer harm. May I feel safe. Inner harm being the harm I cause myself. May I feel safe. All parts of me, may I feel safe. May I be happy and joyful, knowing my own goodness. May I be healthy and strong. And may I have ease in my life. May my life flow with ease. May I love and accept myself just as I am, all parts of me, by understanding, accepting, having warmth and care for all parts, taking more, not less responsibility for my actions. Integrating my actions of thought, speech, and body with my aspirations. May I wake up to the inner beauty, inner goodness, and the potential for so much more than I have discovered thus far, explored thus far in my humanity. And without wasting time and energy berating, judging myself, may I tap and grow more of the goodness in my heart. To serve my life, the life of all beings everywhere. May all beings be happy. May all beings be free, knowing their own inner goodness. Thank you for your practice. So, dear Sangha, have time, space for wisdom to be shared from the community. What came up for you? What did you notice? Any questions you have? What worked? What didn't? It's all good. So, especially if you haven't spoken recently, I invite you to raise your hand, your Zoom hand, because I may not see your physical hand unless others point it out to me. Or you can always type it in chat. And you can type it in chat to everyone if you want it to be public, or just to me if you want it to be private, and I won't say out your name. So as I wait for reflections and community, wisdom to come from this work, this didn't, how about this? I'm afraid this will happen. And anything is welcome. Reflections, comments, complaints. And yes, please.
Testing one. Oh, excellent. Yeah, so I had two things. The first was that I had this just incredible resonance when you were like saying, you know, if there's this other, this was before you even talked about kids, but you were saying like, you know, there's this person who tries to essentially be good, but sometimes they do X, Y, Z. And like the first example you gave was like, I can't. The first example was something. The second example was procrastinating. And the third example was eating cookies or something like this. And procrastinating, that like wham, like that just like totally resonated really, really loud for me because I've been kicking myself for procrastinating as my sort of, foolproof method of self improvement is kicking myself. But like, yeah, I just immediately thought like, well, if a kid was procrastinating, on his little third grader homework, I don't care about his third grader homework. I care about the kid. So it was so easy. It was so easy. Um, yeah, I guess I've, it's nice to get my voice out here. I'll enter my second thing in the chat. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much for that reflection. Really, really appreciate how you connected with that. And yeah, it's and also there's some studies suggesting that when we actually kick ourselves and we're just really, really um, 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 harsh with ourselves, with self-judgment. It's pouring perfectly good moments after wasted moments. So we're punching ourselves. Like, if this third grader, which I love the third grader coming up in your vision, if you pummeled him, yeah, he wouldn't want to, like, oh, he would start hating the homework. So, oh, sweetie, yes, this is hard. No, let's understand what happened. What's happening? Like, what's going on? Let's support you. Let's help you. Just as you were saying, it was the third grade kid. He was like, well, what's happening? Is it not interesting to you? Are you scared of failure? Is it fear of failure? Well, let's cut it to pieces, right? You would support. You would make it easy for them, right? Instead of like, well. So I just love hearing how it came alive for you. Thank you for sharing that. It delights me. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. And one other thing I was going to say is, there's some studies. I think I mentioned them here before, that actually when people are more compassionate to themselves, they take more responsibility, which is one theme I was bringing in to their meditation. One takes more responsibility instead of pointing the finger, like, oh, it's the dog ate my homework. It's their fault and their fault. And when one actually is kinder, then there's a sense of responsibility of actually meeting the moment instead of pushing it all away. So thank you for that. Yeah. Other reflections. Yes. I can ask you to unmute yourself. There you go.
Mm. Hi, this is Don. I don't know. Yeah, you can
Yeah,
hear
I
me.
can hear you. Great.
Yeah, the what uh, really struck me was how harsh I was to myself, and it was, just really just like throughout. And what was really nice was to hear um, this exactly what you're just saying about uh, being not being so self-critical and sort of this third grade child. What would you do? And encourage, and you wouldn't be pummeling, the and yeah, anyway, the that really it was interesting for me to sort of going, wow, that is, I've been really pretty harsh, and it gives me kind of another way to view things. So thank you.
Mm. And thank you for saying that and bringing that into the space of this important insight that has come up for you. And I sense that as you were saying, the sense of, whoa, whoa, I've been so self critical. Whoa, eh, whoa. It's as if we see something for the first time clearly and realizing, oh, this is not the only way. There are other ways, right? So, and seeing insight, the insight of seeing something clearly is when it starts to change. When we haven't seen it and it's been operating in the background, right? If we don't see it, there's no opportunity for it to shift and change. So beautiful. I'm just absolutely delighted, and yay, I celebrate your insight. Thank you, Don. And Ali, I'm gonna ask you to unmute.
Hi, that was really, really powerful. And I thought it was fitting that as we were doing this meditation, my emotionally unavailable, distant cat came and sat on my legs. And, it was just this surreal moment of, it took me a long time. I used to get really frustrated with him because I could tell he wanted attention, but he just didn't know how to ask for it. And it was like, I would get so frustrated. Um, but as time has passed, he's gotten more comfortable and I've embraced him more. And it just took time. And as he was sitting on me, um, I just, the thing that came up for me is, like, can I learn to receive love, and can I be patient with myself as I do that? And so I just got this real connection to, the more I can do it for others, the more capacity I have to do it for others, the more I see it possible in myself. So yeah, I just wanted to share that.
Beautiful. Thank you, Ali. I love the story of your kitty and the patience that it has taken, and vice versa. The more you're able to offer the patient to your kitty, it's more available to you, and vice versa. The more you can give it to yourself, the more it can be available for others. It's beautiful. Thank you. And Gita, we'll let this be the last comment before we go into groups.
I can also wait, Nikki, if you want to go ahead.
You're unmuted. Go
Oh,
ahead, Gita.
okay. So I've been working with the grain of truth on these things, whether it's a difficult person or whether it's difficulty within myself. I find if I look at everything from the perspective of there's a grain of truth in everything, it softens everything. So whether I have a difficulty with a person, I can give the person always the grain of truth. And if it's something within myself, if I'm hard on myself, I don't have to, maybe being very kind is too much, but I can see, oh, well, if I'm hard on myself, at least I get things done that way. So I can find the grain of truth in it. And for me, that has over the years softened things a little bit and made it more accessible, this whole being kind with
Yeah.
myself.
I hear the aspect that you're kind of turning it on its head is to not kick yourself for kicking yourself. That's what
Yeah,
I'm hearing
the
actually
second
here. And what
arrow.
it's
Yeah,
the second arrow. It's like, oh, I really kicked myself for, like, okay, it's okay. The belief was, oh, if I kicked myself, then I would get things done, and it's okay, sweetie. So at least I'm not going to kick myself for kicking myself. That's what I'm hearing in there, kind
yeah,
of
I think,
operating to make
yep.
it. Yeah, great. Thank you, Gita. Yeah. Yeah, it's meeting that with kindness, meeting that aspect of kicking oneself. Yeah. Yeah. The the second, third, fourth arrow, all those. Yeah, great. Beautiful. And Ben, I see your uh comment let's take that after we go into practice group. So dear ones, please don't hop off yet. Let me explain what we're going to do, and invite you to extend your range. This is such a beautiful sangha to share with. So my invitation for small groups is to receive, since it came up, the third graders who have been kicked and pummeled in different ways, with a sense of compassion for each other, metta, for all the aspects. We all have aspects, procrastination. I recognize, I identify with that too. Like each one of us, like, can we come together in in this way of humility as these human beings, as all these third graders that have something that they're sharing with each other and supporting each other from a place of humility, offering kindness and support to yourself and to the other. This seeing the sense of common humanity. So that's the invitation, and I hope you and if you have to go, it's it's fine, no judgment at all. But if you can stay and really appreciate the beauty of the Sangha, the support in the Sangha, I welcome you to do that. So here we go. The rooms are open. Okay, welcome back, everyone. The rooms are closed, and we have about a minute for reflections. And before that, I wanted to acknowledge what Ben had written in the chat before we went. I wanted to acknowledge that, and that is I'm so conditioned to think about relationships transactionally. The idea that someone can take responsibility without a negative motivation runs so counter to my whole capitalist acculturation. I think, quote, if I were a boss, I'd never get my employees to do whatever unless there were the threat of being punished, fired, etc. So appreciate you voicing that, Ben, because that is one way of thinking, and it's definitely um, not it's not conducive to productive, happy teams. In fact, look up the it's Google did a study. It's called Project Re work. And I'll put I guess I can't put, here it is, successful Google Teams. So look this up later. And the number one aspect that makes for happy, productive teams is psychological safety. So who knew? It's not a great manager. It's psychological safety. So that sense of being conditioned to actually offer safety, that you're not going to be, if you screw up, you're not going to be punished. You're not going to be fired. We're going to work through this, even for organizations. So if you think of yourself as an organization, you will function best if you have psychological safety. Like, you're not going to fire yourself. You're not going to kick yourself hard. Like, okay, sweetie, you screwed up. It's okay. Let's analyze what went wrong, what we can fix, what we can put in place. So anyway, we can take that. Susan, I see your hand is raised. This will be our last comment, please.
Yeah, I wanted to share how during the meditation I was feeling a lot of tension, and I just noticed how I was in this place of feeling so much resistance and and having a really hard time just accepting things as they are for me, and feeling this confusion and self-doubt and just a lot of like difficult emotions coming up. And I was like, well, if I can be compassionate with all those different parts of me, all those different feelings, that's already a huge step. And so that was, talking to the small group, I realized, yeah, just being compassionate with all those different parts of me, all those different feelings, regardless of how challenging they may be, is already a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. Thank you for sharing that insight. And what I'm also appreciating is that in the meditation, they all came up, and then through the group, through the wisdom of the group sharing, being held compassionately by the group, and the interaction, realize, oh, actually, this is already a lot. I'm already practicing deeply with this. So how the group I'm hearing really supported realizing that, which really makes my heart happy. Yeah, Susan, do I hear that right? Yeah, yeah, great. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. The value of being held witness and practicing groups. So, dear ones, thank you for showing up, for your practice, for the benefit of yourself and all beings whose lives you touch. May all beings be happy and accept and love themselves just as they are. May all beings be free, including ourselves. Thank you so much.